01612282255. How do, Mike?
Warmest greetings.
Indeed. What would you like to talk about?
Relating to advice which you gave to your first caller, I'd love to agree with you. I'm sure you'll agree again. There's nothing really like a well put together letter of complaint, is there?
Oh, God, yes.
No. Marvellous, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, when you sit down with the old computer or the typewriter, or so long as it kind of looks nice on the page, eh?
Well, the content's quite important as well.
You know, obviously. But I mean, if you're starting to write to guys like Lord Hall, it might as well look good as well.
Well, I don't know whether he makes judgments on the basis of the pictorial depiction. I think he'll make them on the content if he makes them at all.
The first thing I really wanted to talk to you about is the renationalisation of the railways.
All right.
It's a pity that your best-known caller got the wrong end of the stick as to what I said. We all look forward to hearing from him. Anyway, be that as it may, Alan, I think people... I mean, there were always jokes about British Rail, and I think people have forgotten what it was like when they were nationalised. They were the butt of so many jokes, weren't they?
Well, yes, they were, but that doesn't mean they were as bad as the jokes made out.
No, true.
They travelled all over the place on British Rail.
Yeah.
In the day of coal trains.
Yeah, gosh, yeah. Since it's been privatised, the usage of railways has increased massively, hasn't it?
Well, yes, but so's the population, and so's the distance. So's the distance that people live from work.
Yeah.
For example, in the London area, I won't say London because it's salient not to, but in the London area, there are people who travel. Well, now there are people commuting from Bristol and commuting from Manchester to do an ordinary job in London because it is cheaper than trying to live in London.
It's staggering, isn't it?
So that's absolutely staggering. But that's one of the reasons that more people are travelling by train.
I'll give you an example of what might illustrate it to people. In July 1969, a friend and I set out to break the marathon rail record for the largest number of miles travelled in a week on British Rail. And we made 75 journeys. 63 of the trains were late, and our categorisation of late, because we were on a tight schedule, was 3 minutes. 63 were late, 4 were exactly on time, and there were one or two that were actually early. But 63 over 3 minutes late, that's a lot.
The measure that they use to judge whether a train is late or not, I believe, is 10 minutes.
Really?
Officially, that's what I'm told.
Yeah.
So if you look at the figures published today for late trains and then compare them to your 3 minutes, it will look considerably better. But what it doesn't tell us is how many of them were late after 3 minutes.
No.
So we haven't really got a base on which to stand to look at the figures.
My experience of them in recent years, I do think they have become, I don't know whether you agree, but rail travel seems to me, and this is, well, it seems to have become very expensive. I do have the advantage of a rail card, which is a wondrous thing.
Well, you can get it a lot cheaper, obviously, by booking in advance and picking your time to go and all the rest of it. But if I chose to go to London tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, it could cost me anything up to 250 quid, I believe.
Staggering.
It's ludicrous. I can fly for less than that.
Cards on the table. Would you like to see them renationalised, or don't you want to tell me?
I want them to run to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
And now I don't know whether nationalising would bring that about,
No.
or whether there's something we can do to improve it with the situation we are presently in. What I do know is if you compare the amount of taxpayers' money that's spent on railways per capita, on railways, in other European countries, we come out quite low on that list. So if the railway system, I'm not aware, I read somewhere less than 12 months ago that there isn't a national railway system anywhere in the world that makes a profit. They all cost somebody, you know, the government or some other agency, but they all cost money. They don't make a profit. And people say, well, that's why we shouldn't nationalise them, then we shouldn't be putting money into it. No. And yet we build all the roads and don't charge a penny. So if I spend £10,000 on a motor car, the government will pay for me to drive it to London by providing me with a free road. But if I want to go to London in a much cheaper, or at least cheaper to the environment, and a much more social way, the government won't spend much on it.
Here's an interesting little question, puzzler for you. What do you think it cost my pal and I to buy 2 Rover tickets in July 1969?
I don't know. It is an entirely uneducated guess, obviously.
Yes.
Less than a tenner.
Well, I don't think that's bad, actually. The truth is that it cost 20 quid.
Did it? Oh, well, there you are.
It did. But what I find intriguing about this is, of course, that was nearly twice as much as I was earning in a week in that.
That's always the comparison, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to look at what you were earning.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what people earn now. The average wage now is supposed to be somewhere in the vicinity of 18,000. So what's that, a week? I haven't the brains to work it out, but you're looking at probably a few hundred quid.
We did check up a few months ago, again out of interest, as to what it would cost to. Seemingly there is a sufficient cooperation between all the companies to allow for an all Rover.
Yeah.
Ticket. I think it was about 500 quid, which wasn't bad. But, well, you think about all the fabulous journeys you can do in a week, Alan.
Well, yeah, but you've got to sleep somewhere.
No. You have a kip on the train.
All right.
You never get off.
All right.
We did 8,098 miles.
Lord above. Well, there
But
you
we
are.
should have done. You see, because of the lateness of trains, please note, Graham, we lost nearly 4,000 miles.
Right, I understand that, yes.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the lateness you were talking about was 3 minutes. Well, there you are. I don't know whether that's a case for renationalising or not, but it's an interesting tale. Good on you, Mike. 01612282255. How do, Anna?